people before I get going with my speech. So, in order to do these sort of things for the foundation, I can't donate a bunch of money, but I can give my talents and my time. And I also dig deeply into my friends to help me accomplish this. My good friend Aaron Zimmerman, my childhood friend Aaron Zimmerman, we've been through thick and thin together. He helps me bring in lighting, extra audio, extra labor. My good friends Will and Paul over here, could you please put your hands together for these guys? Without them, none of this kind of stuff would happen here. So, following up the comedy routine of Rick and Greg here, the first person I ever heard speak at a CF event was Greg. And I always thought to myself, if I ever get the chance to speak at a CF event, I gotta fill those kind of shoes. And I hope I can start to get close on my journey here, Greg. You're an amazing speaker on the events that I've seen you at, and you're a tough act to follow. So I'm gonna work on this pretty hard tonight. So. Yeah, you haven't applauded enough for the guy already? Okay, so I'm honored enough to have my family here tonight. My mother, my father, Jim and Sue Becker. My wife is here this evening. My lovely son Jacob is here. Just turned 3. My in-laws are here, David, Karen, St. George, and some good friends of mine, Todd and Janine Kalinsky, too. So thank you guys all for coming and making it here tonight for us. All right, so I'm going to start here. We'll see how far I make it in this speech with all eyes on me here this evening. We'll see how this goes. So, my name is Sean Becker. I'm the Director of Safety and Production Services for a local entertainment company in Grafton, Wisconsin. I enjoy cross-country skiing, biking, and kayaking. I've been married for 12 years this year to my beautiful wife, Rachel. I have a Siberian Husky named Murray. My wife's the artist, by the way. But most importantly, I am a CF dad. So here's my story. The pregnancy, we had a high-risk pregnancy with weekly visits to the perinatologist. They encouraged Rachel to undergo an amniocentesis to see what we were up against during this troubling time for us. During the waiting period, we sat with our genetic counselor, where she went over the different scenarios that we could possibly be faced with. One of those was cystic fibrosis. The counselor asked if we knew what it was and if we wanted a more in-depth description of what it was. She told us a lot that night, but the key things that I remember about this conversation were the frequent hospital stays, feeling like you were breathing through a straw, having a shortened life expectancy. The short life expectancy was the thing that got me the most. Trying to think, at the time, life expectancy was 26 years. We've come a long way since then. But I thought about having to cram a lifetime worth of experiences into 26 years. We got our results. Everything was totally normal. No CF, no Down syndrome, no nothing. We were in the clear. So we fast forward to October 16th of 2012. Sorry about the parents. Our happy day for us. Jacob was to be born that day. The induced labor went so fast, you see how the pictures changed there. It went so fast that anesthesiologist could not get there in enough time. Rachel went from 10 to 2 in 20 minutes. And Jacob David Becker was born. Rachel deserves a tattoo for that one. It should say like 10 to 2 and 20 on her arm. A real big one on her back. The nurse came in, 10 fingers, 10 toes, Dad. Healthy baby is what they said. We had 2 weeks adjusting to our new life as parents and to our new baby.
That's you.
I left to tell my wife that. It was a very fun photo shoot, we'll just say that. So we had two weeks of adjusting, envying his sleep patterns, They were actually pretty good. I'll never forget the day that Rachel called me crying. I was out prepping snow guns to make some snow for a cross-country ski trail that had been developing over the last few years. And she called and said, the doctor called, and we need to take Jacob to Children's tomorrow morning. His newborn screen tested positive for the CF carrier gene mutation Delta F508. After some quick research, I found that the Delta F508 is present in 1 in 30 Caucasians. So just to give you an idea of what an amazing system has been set in place due to the hard work between the CF Foundation and the care centers, we received a call that night telling us what to expect the next day when we got to Children's. They also said that if you go on the internet tonight, the only place you go is cff.org. The next morning we arrived at Children's. We were sent to the lab where they administered a sweat test. So those of you not familiar with the sweat test, babies don't really sweat enough initially to collect their sweat tested. They placed copper cuffs on both of Jacob's arms. They ran current through his arms to generate enough sweat that they could collect to test it. This is one of the definitive tests that they do to tell if your child has CF or not. Then we met with our new family at Children's. Dr. Noah, Tammy Noah, Marsha, Lisa, Rachel, the list just keeps going on. The family is so big there. They explained to us in detail how our lives were going to change from just a normal kid routine to enzymes, inhaled medications, and breathing treatments. They were and continue to be an amazing support group and an extension of our family. We left the hospital that day in disbelief of what was happening. All the positive signs pointed towards you need to start your family, Sean. How could this have happened? So then remember that God only gives you what you can handle. I've only heard that works, and it does. That's amazing. Thank you. So I can't imagine Jacob with anyone else. He needs great care, and Rachel and I and our family are going to give it to him. I felt helpless at this point. I'm going to go back to slides, right? I felt helpless at this point. I needed something to do, so I found a local CF chapter. I signed up for the stair climb and met yet another amazing group of people. Now I'll change the slide. Danelle, Kelly, Lisa, Lola, Julie, and Tim. Without their support, we would not be making this journey without direction. Please, for these guys. Since meeting this group, I've had the honor of being involved in the last 2 galas. 2 galas? This is the third? This is the third? 3 of the walks, 2 bike rides. Right, Todd? 2 wine openers, and now a couple of golf events, and now this one. And I was asked by Danelle at the time to become an advocate in Madison to assist with alternating therapies and inhaled antibiotics for CF patients. I feel that doing that made a big difference. We quickly found out how expensive the drugs are to treat this disease. We were connected with the CF Patient Assistance Foundation to help with the cost of the monthly prescriptions. This is a very important part of the CF Foundation funding need, as families usually can't bear the costs, and they vary greatly, but we're in the $4,000 to $7,000 a month range. They go to bat for us on a monthly basis with the insurance companies and help with the drug companies, and for this, we thank them. Jacob's first year consisted of about 28 enzyme pills, multivitamins, Miralax, Augmentin, and about an hour of breathing treatments each day. My video froze it. I'll try to get that going in a second here. Our first Christmas came with the realization of what a breathing treatment looks like, outside to the outside world is Rachel's niece asked us, "Why are you hitting Jacob? If I get this thing to play, he's doing it himself there." Normally we did that for the first year of clapping on his chest 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night. He got the hang of it and would grab it out of my hand and decide that he was going to do it himself, but he would kind of do it a little lower on his abdomen, so he was cheating a little bit. So hopefully those were all effective treatments in his first year. So just to give you a look into what a visit at Children looks like for our family every month. We start with height, weight, a pulse ox, blood pressure, head measurement. Most of these things happen 3 times for the research studies, which we enrolled in immediately. Throat culture, blood work, and then a chest x-ray, which I did find out later. My dad used to be in radiology years and years ago, and apparently developed one of the chairs that they use for putting kids comfortably into an x-ray. So I'm assuming that was the JB 1004 version of the x-ray chair that we have over there. So all of this stuff happens generally before about 10 or 11 a.m. And then after that process, he gets his Starbucks. We don't need Child Protective Services call because I was giving my son a chocolate mocha latte or whatever that is. So Jacob continues to thrive, learn, and grow. He has mastered the iPad, builds trains for his Thomas the Tank engines and seemingly other 100 trains he has strewn around our living room. He runs, he screams, he talks, he sings, he loves playing with other kids. He throws tantrums, pulls you down to play with him on the floor, and he cries when I leave and smiles at me and says, "Hi, Daddy," when I come home, which is the absolute best part of my day. I had the opportunity a few years ago to carry Jacob. I'm trying to find my slide here. I'm sorry. There it is. To carry Jacob across the finish line of the largest cross-country ski race in North America, a marathon. I've been skiing it since I was 15, maybe 16 years old, somewhere in there. I know I couldn't drive. My dad would drive me up to northern Wisconsin, and I'd ski this with 10,000 other people. Where I finished does not matter. But a rite of passage for every new dad, is to carry your son across the finish line. So if you finish skiing 56 kilometers, 28-point-something miles, your last thing you do is you ski up Main Street in Hayward. And it's a very long uphill and usually involves some possible throwing up or something by the time you get to the finish line. And you see snotsicles hanging on a guy's noses and stuff. And my wife has adapted this very well over the last 12 years. I skied up on the side of the ski trail, which is about 3 feet higher because they filled the street in with snow, and I grabbed my son from my wife, and she says, "Let me run up and shoot video of you." So I'm standing on the side of the trail with my son, and he is asleep. 10,000 screaming people down the sides of Main Street in Hayward, Wisconsin, and he is asleep. Cowbells ring, we get across the finish line, he looks up and he goes, "I get it." Most people don't get to ski across it, much less get carried across it, not if you do anything, but he slept through the whole thing. So one day he will ski that race, hopefully. I bought his skis already for him last year. So we do not know what the future holds for Jacob, but we are living in the moment and enjoying every second that we have with our blossoming young boy. Yeah, he is climbing up, not going down the slide there. So just to give you a little information here. Just a few months ago, the FDA approved the drug Oricambi for people with 2 copies of the F508 Delta mutation, age 12 and older. That represents nearly 1/3 of the CF population in the United States. Now, if you don't know this, CF is an orphan disease. There's less than 30,000 people that have this drug, so federal funding is something that's not real easy to come by with this. So you've got about 8,500 people, a third of the CF population, that this is going to help. Oricambi is designed to treat the underlying cause of cystic fibrosis. In people with 2 copies of the F508 Delta, Oricambi improves lung function and other important health measures, such as weight gain. The drug is also significantly reduces the rate of pulmonary exacerbations, which often require hospitalization IV antibiotics and can lead to a steep decline in lung function and permanent lung damage. Origami could eventually benefit nearly 50% of people with CF. Origami is now being studied for phase 3 trials in children ages 6 to 11 that have 2 copies of the F508 delta gene mutation. Origami is a powerful example of the Foundation's successful venture philanthropy model, which they have raised and invested hundreds of millions of dollars to help discover and develop new CF therapies. The Foundation provides upfront funding to the pharmaceutical companies to help reduce the financial risk of developing the drugs to treat CF, successfully attracting major companies to target this rare disease. Any royalties the CF Foundation receives through venture philanthropy are plowed directly back into achieving our mission. The Foundation uses royalty revenue to accelerate development of life-changing therapies and to make sure that the highest quality of care and patient programs are available to people with CF and their families. I would like to say that our son Jacob can benefit from this new breakthrough, but sadly, he and other people with CF have different gene mutations that puts them outside of this. So we aren't done yet. In closing, why are we here today? I like analogies. When I teach cross-country skiing lessons to people, I like to personalize an analogy for each person. Kelly did tell me there was just people here tonight, so I'm going to try to see what I can do about getting this across to everybody. So I thought about this for a while on how to personalize this message. For those of you who may not be personally touched by CF yet, imagine having to answer the difficult questions and whether or not to stretch the truth a little bit when you answer it to your child. Things like, Mom, is there really a Santa Claus? Dad, why did you put money under my pillow last night and take my tooth? Or why did Fluffy go? I looked everywhere and I can't find her. So for a CF patient, sorry about that, it would sound more like this. Mom, how much longer am I going to be in the hospital? Am I ever going to get out? Am I going to die? Or will they ever find a cure in our lifetime? Now, we've never been so close as we are now. Jacob was at Children's last week, and on his way out, walking with his mask on and not feeling very well, saying hi to everybody in the hallway on the way out. It was amazing to me that some people may say he's not aware, but he's just taking it on. He's taking ownership of this disease, and he's just showing everybody around him that I'm good, you are too. So with your help today, our family and other families affected by CF will hope to tell our kids and young adults, yes we can, and yes we will find a cure for CF. Thank you all very much.